of the things I wanted to clear up about the first video was that I was using this hook in the video when I made the original doll with this hook. So you can see, same brand, different millimeter. And you wouldn't think that 0.25 would make that big of a difference, but it has. And so I'm going to continue using my 3 millimeter. If you're watching this and you haven't started yet, or you're already using the 3.25, that is definitely what I would recommend. Here is my body I'm making now, and you can see the legs were made with the larger hook. And then when I brought this out to my studio to film, I grabbed this one and I said, oh, well, this is a D hook as well. I was like, oh, that's funny. I thought it was 3.25, but maybe I'm confused. And just went with it. And the body, if you watch the first video, is a bit smaller than Morgan, my original dolls. So I'm going to keep using this hook, like I said, because the body's already been made in it. And you can see it's a lot tighter than the legs. So the legs here were done, so with the larger hook, and that's what I did my first doll in. So we're going to keep using the 3 millimeter and go with it. For part 2 of our crochet along, you're just going to need your working yarn still. Here's my body that I've got. You're still going to need your fiber fill for the head. You're going to need some safety eyes. I got this kit quite a while ago on Amazon when I was making animals. You can see lots of different colors and stuff. For this, I used the smallest. My fiber fills in there. Smallest eyes for her that came in this set. So I'll link to that below if you'd like to buy just a whole set, because it's kind of nice to have them all on hand for different things. Or we can just get the smallest ones there, or you can embroider them. If you're giving them to a small child, I would definitely recommend embroidering them, because even though safety eyes say they are, safety eyes, I have had them come out of crochet things before. And so to be absolutely safe, I would, as a mom myself, I would not put them on if you have a small child who might put them in their mouth. You also need the yarn for the hair. Morgan will be doing her hair in this video, in this part. And I also used the hair, same yarn for the eyebrows. I just separated the plies. So we're putting the eyebrows in, embroidering the nose, and making the arms and attaching them. So that's for part 2. Things that you'll need. Oh. All right, let's get started. All right, for round 1 of the head, we're just going to single crochet 2 stitches in each stitch. So we'll end up with 24. So in every stitch, just go ahead and single crochet 2. And end, we're going to go from 12 to 24, so it's going to increase quite a bit all at once. Okay, we've got our 24. It always looks a little weird at first when you're starting the head, so don't worry. Even the next few rounds will look weird. The next few rounds, up to round 6, we're going to work a number of single crochet stitches and then increase with 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So we start out with 3. So for round 2, you'll single crochet 3. Mine seem really close together, especially with the smaller hook. I noticed a big difference in how tight it was. Should have clued me in right there that I was using a different size hook. 1. Okay. 2, 3, and then I'll work 2 single crochet in the next stitch. And then you just repeat this around. On the next row, you'll single crochet 4 and then increase, and then single crochet 5 and increase, 6, and then you'll end up with 7 single crochets in between your increases. And then we'll work 12 rounds even in single crochet. So you'll increase through round 6, And then 7 through 18, which is 12 rounds, you'll just work even. And then we're going to stuff the neck really firmly and the head to that point. We're going to put on the safety eyes, and then we'll be able to move on. So go ahead and get through round 18. Okay, here's how this looks after 12 rounds of working even. You can see where I increased. So it looks really funny at first because it comes out straight. It has a big flat piece, but then when you start working these rows, you can see it starts taking shape. So I have this big cavern here. I ran out of yarn because I'm using the same skein as I used before for my first Morgan. So normally you wouldn't have these ends hanging out in there, but here's where I was stuffing the neck. You want to make sure you stuff the neck really firmly because otherwise it gets kind of limp. I didn't stuff my original Morgans as much as I should have. And then my kids played with it, so now she's a little limp, one that I would like. So stuff it really firmly. If you're concerned about it, you can always put like a pipe cleaner in there, kind of like double it up. I've seen people do that, especially because the hair gets quite heavy. So you want to do that. And now decide which is the front, the back. For me, it depends on which one my body and all that looks better. It's not really a right or a wrong to it. So I'm going to make, let's see. Make this the front. This will work. So let's do the eyes, okay? Now the eyes, we just finished round 18 right here. The eyes go between rows 12 and 13. So I'm gonna get my little safety eye. I have 2 of them. My other ones are right over here ready to go. And I have 2 backs. One thing I'm not too crazy about with these is their backs aren't super sturdy, as you can see. So depending upon who you're giving it to is what kind of eyes you will use for it. But let's say we're going to go with these. And okay, so this is 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. So right around here. And this one, does that look about right? Let's see. You can see my Morgan here. Yep, right about the middle there. So now there are 9 stitches apart. So it's hard to get this on camera. So, oh, lost my place. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. So somewhere around this line right here. And then I want them 9 stitches apart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it'd be like here and here. And then I just look to see if it actually would be even with the body. Oop. Of course, you can always take these out at this point. So let's go here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to put it right here underneath that one. It always looks so weird at this point with the open head. I know. So to me, that looks pretty good. It's pretty even with where these are. I feel like it's straight. So I'm going to put my backs on. You just push them on. Okay. And then, sorry. And then the next one. And my poor Morgan was naked forever. Like, I made the body and then I didn't give her any clothes. And I was like, I'm so sorry. You know, and I didn't give her hair for a while either. So it was like, I got all excited about making the body. I made it and then kind of waited, got some of the projects in. There we go. If you want, you can go ahead and embroider the nose now. I waited on mine till I had, cut the yarn and everything. So I'm going to do that after we finish her head. Now we do need to stuff it at this point. I said stuff your neck really well, which I've already done. I even took the end of my hook and really pushed it in there. Got more fiber fill. This thing needs quite a bit for the top because the head in this style, I like this style doll, is larger than the body. My boys were like, why is the head so big? And we laughed and I said, imagine if my head was as big as my hips. And they had a good laugh about that because I know that I have hips and I'm got curves and it doesn't bother me to joke about it. But yeah, that would be pretty funny. But this style of doll is so cute like that with the big head. But in real life, we definitely would not want our heads to be small, as you know, same size as our hips. There we go, see? And you can always, of course, add more as you go, especially right near the end when you're getting ready to finish her up. All right, so after this, we're gonna work from rows 19 to 26, and you're really gonna just work backwards what we did right here. Because if you remember, our last row that we were increasing was 7 single crochet and then an increase. Now we'll work 7 single crochet and a decrease to start closing up the head. So don't forget about your invisible decrease, okay? Especially on the head. It'll look really weird if you get, because the head is seen, if you have the single crochet 2 together. You just want to make sure you're doing the invisible. So let's go over that again. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, I worked 7 even. And now I'm going to decrease right here. So remember, you go under the first loop, and then under the second loop, and then work a regular single crochet. So pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you've got an invisible decrease, just to refresh you from the last video, because increasing is the same, but decreasing is not. So you'll start with 7 and then decrease, and then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. So you'll go all the way down, just putting fewer single crochets in between your decreases. And then on round 26, you will single crochet 2 together and have 6 stitches left. And then I'll show you how we come back and close that up. But as you go, before it gets too small, just make sure you're putting in your fiber fill to keep it nice and full. And then work your decrease rounds, and I'll show you how to close her up. And then we'll be ready for some hair, eyebrows, and a nose and the arms. Now I finished my head up to that very last 6 stitches. And here is what it looks like. Your hole is probably, if you use the 3.25, it's a tiny bit bigger than this, but you should see something very similar at the top. And I'm going to show you how I always close mine. So first of all, got to remove our stitch marker. Set it aside for later. And then grab your scissors and clip. Then what I do is I actually pull it out. I don't fasten off traditionally, I just pull it out like this. And then, get it here where you can see, I'm going to weave it through the stitches. So I'll go in this direction towards the middle. And I'll pull it through here. And then I'll go from the inside out on the next stitch. This is how I do hats and everything. I close them off whenever I have just a few stitches. Of course, it's going to be difficult on camera. It's hard for me to get it to where you can see it. And I can do this. There we go. And then the next one from the outside in. So you're just going around and weaving the stitches in and out. You can do this with the yarn needle. Personally, I don't. I just do it with my hook as much as possible. I do everything I can with my hook. Even though I will have to get my yarn needle out in a minute anyways to sew this end into it. So there we go. Pull through and tighten. Now it's going to leave a little spot at first. So it looks really funny like this, but we're going to get out our yarn needle. There's mine. Pull that through. And then we're going to kind of just, so if you want to get a yarn needle out and do it from the beginning with the yarn needle, that's fine. So I go ahead and weave it in a couple times here. Because she's not going to be bald anyways. And we could have pulled it down real tight there, and we still can if we come up through the middle. I got a big yarn needle. Cut it through the middle. And I know I feel so weird sometimes, you know, poking through. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I should be apologizing to her for poking her in the head and everywhere else. Okay, and then I go way down here, far away from there, pull it tight. And we're gonna clip this off right down here. And then when we kind of fluff her head back up, there it is. So I know she's kind of strange looking right now, but what I did with mine was I did the arms next. So I'm going to leave her without hair just for a little bit. And we're going to do the arms, get them on, and then we'll worry about giving her features. So it looks like I should have actually stuffed mine a little bit more too. I didn't realize that. So make sure you stuff it firmly before fastening off so that you have a nice rounded head. Okay, so our next step is the arms. So remember our magic ring. Hold it, make an X, grab your hook, and draw up a loop, chain 1. All right, now we want 4 single crochet in our loop. Okay, got 4. Now grab your tail and pull it tight. It should look like this. And we're going to work 2 single crochet in each. So mine always get tight at the end. Use my nail to help me get it in there. All right, so I'll work 2 single crochet in each, and I'll end up with 8. Come on now, not a slip stitch. There we go. Single crochet. All right, so 2 in here, and I found too that this smaller, you know, you wouldn't think that 0.25 millimeter would make that much of a difference, but it does. All right, so I've done 2 there. A stitch marker flying across, and I'm gonna put in my stitch marker so that I do not lose my first stitch. I'm terrible about that. I cannot tell if I don't mark it. So I'll put that on, and then you're gonna work till there's 8, and then we'll work 23 rows even in single crochet. So you'll just work round and round and round, 23 rows, and then I'll show you how to finish that off and attach it to the body. So just work the 4 single crochet in a magic ring, 2 single crochet in each stitch to give you a total of 8, and then 23 rounds even to give us our length of the arm here, and then we'll put it onto the body. Okay, I've completed my 25 rows, and my arm is done. So what you want to do is remove your stitch marker, and go ahead and fold it in half so that you'll have 2 rows of 4. It's not always completely easy to see, but just line them up as best you can. And then go ahead and work through both layers. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. And there we go. And just single crochet across. You'll do 4 stitches. And then your last one, your last stitch may just be in the end. Actually, mine just needed 3. So 3 to 4. When I did it before and a little bit larger needle, it worked out to be 4. But if you get across 3 and it's at the end, as long as you're at the end, you are fine. We do not stuff the arms. Okay, so the arms are nice and loose. And then cut it, leaving a decent size tail so we can sew this on. Okay, go ahead and grab your yarn needle. I'm actually going to get a smaller one this time. I have my little odds and ends here in this little needle nest. So I'll put my giant one away. It's magnetic, so it holds onto them for me, which is nice. And I have a smaller one so that it's not quite so hard to get through the stitches. And then thread my needle. Oh, wait, should have pulled it through first. Pull it through. Now thread your needle. There we go. Okay, so let's look at the arm placement. Get my original Morgan out here. And we can see this was the last row of my neck, because you see it starts getting larger after that. I went 1, 2, 3 down and then joined her arm right there. And that's what I'm going to try to do on this one. If it ends up being maybe 1 row lower, it's all right. As long as the 2 arms are even, then it will be fine. Okay, so here's my neck. Get her down here. And then that was 1, 2, 3, and this was where it was. So I'm going to start over here. So here's like the center. And I'm going to start a little to the right of it, or the left if you're left-handed. So a little over so that you can come across, because you can see, you know, it will be a little ways across there. So you don't want to start at the very center or your arm will be off. So go ahead. We go 1, 2, 3. And then right in between rows 3, this 3rd row and the next row, scoot over a bit. And I'm going to start right here. What I do is I go ahead and bring it up. And this is the way that I connect when I make amigurumi. It may be, some of you may know a better way. And if you do, by all means, please, you know, use that method. But I'm showing you the way that I can do it here. So you can see that's kind of going to be pretty good, pretty straight. So I'm going to go ahead and I go underneath these 2 right here. And I pull. And then I go up to the next stitch and pull that tight onto the next V of the next stitch. Okay. And then for this one, I'll just do 1 more, because I only did end up doing 3 across. This is the way it worked out. Oops. Sorry, I've been doing that a lot with this, and I do apologize. And then 1 more time. Okay. To go across. Okay, so I've got the top on, and I always check it, make sure. Okay, I like the way that looks. Sorry. And then I'm going to go beside it here. And then I'm going to go underneath the same way. So into the V. And then I'm going to go really close. I'll go right here. Careful not to pull your stuffing through, because that's no semi trying to come through there. Pull tight. She's getting a little surgery on her underarm here. Okay, and then I've got 2 more stitches here, but I only really have 1 more area I want to work on the side. So I'll go in the end. And then right here beside it. Okay. There is her arm. So you can see how it looks. And then I'm just gonna, a lot of times I'll go back over it again, at least the top, so that it doesn't come loose, because what I do after I've done that and secured it really well is I just poke it through the body and come out in another area, pull tight, and clip it off like we did for the head. So there's how you put on an arm. The arm should come down close to the crotch area. It's not quite as long, like proportional as a human arm. I tried to make it decently proportional, but I didn't want this like crazy long arm coming down here. So I thought that was a good length. Let's look at the original with the longer. Take her little dress off. And you can see her arm is right about there with the larger hook as well. So we've got the arms. So I'm going to go ahead and secure this arm, and then we're going to come back and we're going to embroider the nose, the eyebrows, and I'll show you how to put on the hair. And then part 2 will be done. All right, let's work our nose next. See her nose right here. And this is the row that we did right here, where we put our eyes on. You're just going to go down 2 and try to center it. So not too difficult. This is a really easy one. So here we have the row our eyes are on. I go down 2 to right about here. So I'll come up from inside the head so that I can hide my yarn in here. So you can see, I pull it just until it's gone. All right. Actually, I want to go over one. So I'll do it like this. Try not to pull too hard or you'll pull your yarn out. You want to stay buried. I'm going to go across 2 here. And I did not give her a mouth. That is totally up to you. If you would like to give her a mouth. Oh, I went right in the middle of my yarn. But just do it 2 or 3 times to give her a little nose that you can see. All right, so for me, when I did it the next time, I did it to where I came out. I wasn't sure you're coming out between stitches. And like I said, this may not be the exact way to do it, but this is the way I've always done it, and it works out well for me. So there's the nose. So my head isn't completely stuffed like it should be. I have my nose, and I'm going to pull it a little tight, cut it. And there we have our nose. You'll embroider her eyebrows exactly the same way. What I did was I just took a single ply from my yarn. I undid it so that I would have exactly, matching eyebrows. I really wanted that instead of getting a different. So I just went ahead and undid it, kind of untwisted the yarn. Grabbed out a single ply, threaded it on my needle. And for this, I only did 1. If you want them more pronounced, like I just went, coming up from the back, went through, came across because it's in stuffing, and went through it. So you can see there's 2 whole stitches in between my eye and my eyebrow. So it's up to you where you want them placed. If you want them closer, if you want to put little almost like eyelashes that are really cute. I tried. I just kind of liked it better like this. And so that was really easy to do, and so it matched the hair perfectly. And so we're going to look at her hair next. Now, when I started putting hair on Morgan, her head got really heavy. So her hair, as you'll see, I don't have any hair back here. And that's totally up to you if you want to bring the hairline down like a normal person's hair, or if you want to leave it up like this. And I just chose an area that I liked for her forehead and started with this, which I'll show you in just a minute. And I didn't do every single row either because I said her head got really heavy because I picked a heavy yarn. So I just did like every other row in the circle. So I picked one and I went all the way around with this method I'm about to show you, the latch hook method. It's just like applying fringe. So if you've ever applied fringe to a scarf or anything, it's going to be the same. And then I skipped around and put another one and skipped, and you can't tell. I mean, I've played with her hair a bunch because it's so thick, and I almost curled it because I've read about wool yarn that you can wrap it loosely on dowels and put it in the oven, and I'm going to try that eventually. But I didn't with her because once I started putting it on, I just liked it straight like this. And so the way that I made my hair all the same, here's my yarn I used right here. I wanted a wool yarn so that I was thinking about curling it, like I said, and so I changed my mind about it. And I'm finding the end of my yarn. There it is. I actually, for as length as Morgan's hair, I actually took a CD cover the long way and I just wrapped it around a whole bunch of times like this. When I did the smaller one, the doll's hair, I actually did it on my fingers like this. And then I just cut across it all, and it made them all the same length. So I still have some left from her, and I'll show you. So I've got a nice length here, because when you fold it in half, this is the actual length of your doll's hair, because all the pieces are going to be folded in half like this. Okay, so let us add some hair. Now, I need your hook, so I'm gonna hook. My eyebrows were about right here, and then there were a couple of rows before then. So you're gonna insert your hook. Let's say I want it on this row. Oops, I'm not even trying. Let's say, the eyebrows are about right here, which I will put them in later, and then I want it to be about, yeah, let's go with here. I'm gonna go back to front. I've doubled this over. I'm going to catch it right here, pull it through, and you may get a little bit of your stuffing come out. If you do, it's no big deal. Just pull them away later. Mine, there we go. So pull it out, pull the loop out, yarn over with both of the ends, and pull through, and pull it tight. And so that's what I did. This takes a little while, because then you go right beside it, get another piece out. You need a lot of hair, especially if you decide to go down the back, and pull it through, yarn over, pull them up both through, pull it tight, and you're just going to keep going. Like I said, I started in one place and I went all the way around, and then I skipped the next one, worked all the way around, skipped, worked all the way around. And so that's how she gets her full head of hair. But it starts out like this. You just work across, you know, starting with wherever you want the outside piece to be. And so it just takes a little while. Okay, so I just said mine, as you saw, let me get her back here. She doesn't have any hair in the back. Like I said, when I realized how heavy her head was with all this gorgeous hair in it, I thought, you know, she looks perfect. I don't want to like have her head down and everything. So I didn't put any. So, but you could definitely follow a normal like human hairline where our hair comes down and then back up. Totally up to you where you want to put the hair. as many or as few strands as you want. You can part it, you can braid it, you can, like I said, look up how to curl, yarn hair, and you'll probably find that tutorial that I was talking about. I know I saw it on Pinterest several places. And then our next part is just going to be her dress and her boots, and then your doll will be done. So I hope you enjoyed part 2. If you need to see part 1, I'm going to have it linked in there, and when part 3 is up, I will link it in this video as well for those of you guys who have not been able to join our crochet along but are viewing these videos and wanting to make your own doll. And of course, the written pattern is on Love Life Yarn. If you want her little doll pattern, it is available for sale on my Etsy and Ravelry shops. But the entire doll from Morgan here is free on my website. I'll link it in the description. And so that next part, dress and boots, and we'll be all done. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time.